Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Monday and welcome to another week of the Monday Morning Show. I'm Noah.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are your hosts to give you yet another week of Freedom Village news and happenings and all the fun things you could ask for.
All the fun things. Today is the last day in July, which means it's a very special holiday.
A very special holiday. I love a very special holiday.
Yes, we're good at finding the good holidays around here. And today is Uncommon
Terrestrial Instrument.
Uncommon Instrument Awareness Day.
Ah.
And so we're looking past the violins and the pianos to things a little more uncommon.
Uncommon. Are we talking like the spoons? Maybe.
It could be the spoons.
The accordion?
That might even be a little common. Maybe a bucket and a stick.
A bucket and a stick. Does that count as an instrument?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What is the definition of an instrument? How do we know that it's really an instrument?
Do you feel the music in your heart while you play the bucket?
So it's what you do with the object.
Yeah.
Not so much the musical ability of the object.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, every instrument started as something elementary, I would assume, and then was developed further.
I suppose.
Right.
But I feel like a harp would be sort of an uncommon instrument.
Yeah, it probably would fall.
A mandolin.
Or a didgeridoo.
A didgeridoo. I love the didgeridoo.
I do too.
I think that's such a neat instrument. What else is out there? I was going to say bongos, but that's not... You don't know a lot of people that play a bongo.
No, not very often.
What else do you have? What other
instruments?
instruments?
Do you know what the rarest instrument on Earth is?
I do not.
Okay, well, it is the hydraulophone.
Hydraulophone.
And it produces sound using vibrations in running water.
That makes sense with the hydro of the word. Interesting. I've never heard of that.
I have not either. What the most commonly played instrument is?
I would guess maybe a guitar.
Guitar is up there, but piano is tops.
Oh, that's an easy one to get kids started on. So I bet everybody knows at least one song on the piano, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Mary Had a Little Lamb,
or the dun dun dun.
Yes.
You know that one?
Yep.
Yes. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, do you play any instruments?
I play the cup.
You play the cup?
I played the violin when I was a young lad.
Ah, but now you play the cup.
Now I just play the cup and the table and the Noah.
No, I'm an instrument too.
Today you are.
Yay, I love that.
What instruments do you play?
Well, I can play the ukulele, the cello, the piano, a tiny bit of guitar, and then I sing. So... That's all.
It's a whole handful.
You know.
Well, have you heard the breaking news?
What's the breaking news?
There are reports.
That
came out last week.
And this is breaking news.
This is breaking.
Breaking. As we speak, it is breaking our brains.
Yes. Aliens are real.
Aliens are real.
Maybe. That's what one man says.
I mean, haven't we always known aliens are real?
Well.
E.T., let's talk about E.T.
Do you know I've never seen E.T.?
Never. It's kind of scary.
Is it?
I didn't love it as a child. E.T.'s a little bit creepy.
I wonder if it's better as an adult.
Watch it and let me know.
Okay. I will report back.
Great.
But they say that possibly aliens are real. This man from the government said that the U.S. government has debris from a crashed UFO and remains from aliens.
Wow. From something non-human.
Non-human.
So, of course, it must be alien.
No, I mean, there was no photographic evidence. There was nothing. It was just this man testifying to Congress.
Interesting.
But they're real.
What does that mean? What does that mean for us if aliens are real?
Well, that's bigger than we have time for right now.
That's a whole other episode.
But it led me to start thinking about aliens.
Yes, as of course it did.
Of course, obviously. Yeah. And so I found some interesting facts I thought I would share with you.
Please, I'd love to hear them.
Well,
I know the residents would too.
They're on the edge of their seats right now.
They are excited about aliens, yes.
The first ever UFO sighting recorded was in 1440 BC.
What?
Yes.
That's wild.
I know. In ancient Egypt, there's scribes of the sixth pharaoh, and they described fiery discs hovering over the skies of Egypt.
Hovering? Interesting. I bet back in those days, if there are aliens, they didn't have to be as incognito as they do now. We have so much more technology to find them. So maybe they could just hang out right above the pyramids. They were just like, here we are. Nobody will know what we are. No, they'll just
what
think
if
it's
they
strange.
are real and they've been this advanced since ancient Egypt times, and we're just like, we can fly an airplane a few years ago?
Yeah,
it's kind of wild to think about.
It is.
Another interesting thing that I found is that in the mid-1900s to the late, there's been a lot more sightings of UFOs, kind of going right along the rise in sci-fi movies.
Oh, people are looking for them
Are
more.
people looking for them, or they're seeing them because
it's in your brain. It's like when you start looking for a new car, and then all of a sudden you see that same car that you're looking at everywhere on the street. What's that phenomenon
I don't know
called?
what it's called.
It's a phenomenon. I bet it's something similar, where if you're thinking about UFOs, you start seeing them.
Of course you're going to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Huh. What about you, Ashley? Do you believe that there are aliens? Is that too tough a question for what we have time for?
I don't know. I assume with how big the universe is, there probably is something else out there, right? But I get really freaked out if I think about how big the universe is, so I try not to think about it too often.
Fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just thought I'd share a little bit since,
Thank you for sharing. I don't know what I would do without this information. How would I go on with my Monday morning?
You wouldn't.
I'm not sure.
But we must. So let's go on with our week.
And we'll go on and we'll tell you what's going on this week. So, starting with today, July 31st, it is the end of July.
That's wild.
Woo, crazy. Today, this afternoon at 2 p.m., we are going to head to South Haven to go visit Sherman's Ice Cream. They have been around for 65 seasons of ice cream, which is awesome. And they pride themselves on providing ice cream the old-fashioned way. So we'll take a ride out to South Haven, enjoy the weather, enjoy the scenery, eat some ice cream, take a drive by the South Haven beach and pier, and then head on home this afternoon. So if you're not signed up, we probably still have a spot on the bus if you last minute would like to go with us. So that is this afternoon.
Wonderful. Tomorrow evening, Tuesday, kicking off our August, is an American Legion Band concert. Bus will leave Freedom Village at 6:45, and we're actually heading down to the Splash Pad this time for a different location for this week's concert.
Change of season. Nope, scenery.
I knew what you meant.
Words are hard.
They are.
And then Wednesday is pretty quiet, but that is because we are preparing for Thursday, which is quite a busy day. We start Thursday at 8:30 a.m. on the bus to Shipshewana. We're going to go to the Blue Gate Buffet and then see the Shipsy Gospel Jubilee at the Blue Gate Music Hall before we head to the bulk food store and then come on home. And once we get home, we have another program that evening at 7:15. We'll have a group of flautists.
I love that word.
It's a nice word.
Flautists.
From the Holland Symphony Orchestra to play with us. They'll be accompanied by a pianist, and they'll be here to give us a wonderful evening performance.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wrap up our week Friday at 3 o'clock in the atrium. We have singer and songwriter Al Mahan here to join us. He's coming up from Tennessee. And that is our week.
And that's our week. It's going to be a fun one. We are starting off August. We've got anniversary week coming up soon, which is always exciting and always a busy time. So get ready for more information about that if you haven't seen it in your crier yet. And Ashley, what else do we have?
Well, so this week we've got a very special interview to show you. We had a chance to go into Martha Zahn's apartment and see a lot of her creations. I had no idea that she was so talented, and so she creates a lot, and she let us in and showed us around. So let's take a look. Well, today we're excited to be here in the home of Martha Zahn and get to learn a little bit more about her interest in textiles and all of her talent she's got. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this for. But I have to tell you, first of all, before you get into any textiles, I've got to tell you my best story is right here in my queen's chair. Now, those of you that know me, I sit on the bus in the center of the back bus, and I call it my queen's seat because I can watch everyone here. But this is my queen's chair. And what's special about this chair is when I came here to Freedom Village, The first time I went to the Holland Museum, walking around to find out what businesses were in the area, because I had never lived in this area or knew anything about it, I came past the Limbert furniture and I said, I have a Limbert chair. So I came home, because this is a signed chair, came home and looked at it, and it's Grand Rapids in Holland. So I go to the community table in the dining room and say, where was the Limbert factory? 2 days later, Duncan came to me with 3 pages about Limbert furniture.
Oh, wow.
It was located on Columbia, 6th Street. It was torn down to build our Freedom Village. So my chair has come back home from where it started.
Wow, that's really cool.
So this is a special story that I have to tell you right off the bat. Limbert was a arts and craft Dutch, and they went out of business in the 30s because they didn't modernize fast enough. But that's my Limbert chair.
Do you know what year the chair is from?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't say.
And I haven't read that. But the other story is, when I first came here, I started off doing the tours for Tulip Time. So on the bus, you have to fill time. So I started telling them my story about Limbert chair, and I get to the library, and then I have to say, well, the rest of the story has to come later, because then I get to things I have to talk about on the tour. And so the rest of the story is, I offered an in-law who does art, who likes arts and crafts, and he didn't want it. So a man raises his hand and says, I'll take it from my bus. Okay, okay, let's go out on the porch, because you want to see what kinds of things I've made.
Yes,
and
we
I've
want
done.
to see where you create.
Well, I've created in the past a lot. Out here, because some people know that I have done some weaving in the past. And the story is, my father made my mother a loom. My mother's mother was a weaver in Finland. Never owned a loom, but only rented one. After I left home, my father built a loom for my mother. In the 80s, they gave me that loom. It's a big rug loom, and obviously I don't have it here. So that started me in weaving. I don't do a lot of weaving because I do most of the demonstration. I go to craft shows. I ran little children's looms for children to weave on when they came to craft shows. But so when I came here, I knew I would be limited in time and space, so I had no intention of bringing a floor loom with me. But my daughter said, I might like to weave someday. So I kept this loom here. I have only woven one thing. What's on the loom right now, I made placemats for her, and this is what was left on it. And the story that I have to tell about this is, as I was sitting here weaving, it's noisy. Weaving is noisy and dirty, it's dusty. And I thought, do my neighbors on each side worry about the noise from this? And no neighbors ever said anything to it, so I didn't worry about it. It was a couple months later when I met Linda Lee, who lives directly below me. She moved in the 1 week that I wove.
Oh no.
She moves into her apartment and she hears this clunking.
She probably thought, oh no, who do I live below?
What am I getting myself into? Now that she knows I'm a weaver, she's waiting for me to weave some more. It won't bother her, but of all the times that it happened. So my most favorite woven item is my poncho. This is made with my birthday.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The colors, the number of stripes are my birthday on the colors. And it's my birthday in 3 times, finished twill and another finished design, and rose patch. So there's 3 different patterns, but this is, back in the 90s, it was the style, because weaving changes in style, of doing anniversaries and things. And so this is one thing that I'm probably most proud of, is my birthday poncho.
That's beautiful.
I said I do weaving at demonstration. Dressing the loom, putting the stuff on the loom, deciding what you're going to make, and designing and everything takes a lot of time. The weaving of it takes probably less than 20% of the time. But when I did demonstration, I wove at the Old Engine Show in Buckley, then in August up north, in the Traverse City area, the Lighthouse place. There were several arts and crafts. I would set up a loom with a design, and I would weave these pieces that make into purses, and that's what I would weave as demonstrating, so people could see the working of the loom and everything.
And you packed this whole large loom up to take to the shows?
Not this one.
No, use a smaller one.
Well, but it was basically this. It wasn't much smaller than this.
Okay.
But the weaving guild had a little bit smaller loom. So when I wrecked my car by hitting a deer, when I went to buy a car, the requirements of the car was that I could fit the loom in the car, and that was the requirement because I did have to. This loom. Now, Michigan hand weavers come to Holland every year in June. They were here the second week in June. When I take classes there and I don't drive, this has wheels, and I roll it up the street because the class is at Martha Miller, just past Jack Miller. So I can roll mine up there and roll it back.
I'd love a picture of you rolling your loom down the road.
I want to show you this purse. This is one of the first things that I made. And what's so special about it is my mother had saved this. I got from my mother this top, which is all Dutch scenes, not having any connection with Holland or the Netherlands or anything. She had this purse top, and to me, that I ended up making the purse that turned out well, but it also, when I came here and found out, these are all Dutch scenes. And
beautiful.
And so this is something that I'm proud of. All right, when you talk about looms, just people say, oh, you have a loom? Well, anytime you have a hobby, you don't have one. And so this is why I brought out, this is called an Inca loom. This makes just narrow braids. And I have another loom, rigid heddle loom, which has gotten very popular. That's what I use for the children, but it's in my closet too far to pull out for today, so I don't have it. But this little loom was just available through the Lenny's Crosses, and so I bought it. I haven't decided what to do with it, but I just saw recently a picture of that loom, so I've got to decide how to do it or anything, but it will make a piece so big. So you always have some kind of loom and making of things like that. Besides, now a loom you don't take to the monthly meeting, Weaving Guild meeting. So the Weaving Guild does all kinds of things. So this is why I brought out my silk scarves that I dye. I'm going to go back here. Well, first of all, this is a scarf that I have woven. We dyed it, and
beautiful.
It is dyed, and that it has a pattern. The two sides are different.
Do you get people asking you to make things for them or commission jobs since they know what you do, or
no? Because I don't sell anything.
Okay,
I'm not a seller.
Yeah,
but as you can see, I dye silk scarves. This is dyed just with yarn. Lots of the dyes come out of yarns. So this is dyed with just yarns.
The dye that was already in the yarn when you purchased it? Wow.
This is dyed with tissue paper. This is a pretty...
Oh, wow.
Tissue, you put tissue paper and water. Indigo dye, you put little things to dye indigo.
Wow.
I worked in the costume shop at Interlaken, and when they trimmed their silk things, I had all kinds of pieces of silk material, and so I dyed them different color and then stitched them together.
Very pretty.
A wrap like this. Now these two pieces are dyed with Kool-Aid and snow.
Really?
Yeah, you put snow and Kool-Aid and you dye. So there are many different things.
Oh, interesting.
This is Sabori. This is a a Japanese type where you, before you die, and dyed with indigo dye that
That's really cool.
designs. Talking about Japan, I forgot to tell you about my Japanese loom that I have right in here. When it came time to come here, knowing I was limited in space, I knew this is a Kumohimo Japanese loom to make this kind of braid. On the Japanese kimonos, they have braids, fine braids like this that they wear inside, and it's made on a loom like this. So I thought I wanted to keep it. My brother-in-law made that for me. So I made this top to have on here so that I would just have a little table.
It doubles as a side table, doesn't it?
Anytime here. So that's another loom that I have here. Okay, besides dyeing and weaving, the one thing that I have here, this is a knitted and felted. And every time I wear it, and I wear the hat a lot more than the purse, I get compliments on it. And it's just impressive how something as simple as this turns out for people. It makes me feel good when people see something and just compliment me on it, because it makes it feel worthwhile. Now, these things are over a long time. I have one dress that is made out of material that I made a skirt when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And so these aren't from the last 5 years. I have things.
So you've been creating since you were a small girl.
You know, with 10 years old, I'm thinking of when I started sewing early like that. My mother was a person that tried every craft. My grandmother, her mother, was a very talented person, but she was Finnish and she didn't speak English, and I never learned Finn, so I never communicated with her, which was the sad part. But I think I got her talent.
It sounds like she still passed some things down to you, for sure.
Because my mother tells about how they'd go down to the department store in Marquette downtown and look at the clothes and then go home, and her mother would make them for her.
Nice.
And so she had beautiful clothes. So yes, from the very beginning, when I started sewing, I basically designed my own clothes. I'm not good at following patterns, is what my problem is.
And so is that true still today, that most of the clothes we see you wearing are a Martha Zahn original?
No.
That's wonderful.
And it's hard to me to this outfit that I have on today was on the cover of Threads magazine. If you're familiar with Threads magazine, it's a sewing magazine. So I did not design this, but I made this looking at and seeing what the directions were. And I have a hat that even goes with it that I wore today on it too. So going to purses. I collected antique purse tops, so I have lots of purses with different tops. This is the braid that is made on that type of loom.
Oh, okay.
And used for this. What it's used for more than anything else is it's called gimp on furniture, where they have the braid around the edge of. It's called gimp. That's what's made on the ankle loom. That's there. So first things I started off making were placemats. These are placemats that are made from my father's work shirt. My father always wore a blue workshop shirt, and my mother or my grandmother, I don't know who, had already cut the strips and everything, so when I got the big loom, I was given. The big loom, this is only plain weave. There's only 2 ways to go. This loom has 4, so I can do the designs that are in here. In order to do designs in your weaving, you have to have more than 2, because 2 is just 1 in place. Equivalent to this is plain weave, 1 and 2. But to do any kind of design like this, you have to have 4. And then they go 8, and then they go up to a lot more. I had 8 in one loom and decided I didn't need to
That's
do
too
that
many?
much. I didn't need, I can do enough with this because I like color more. Color is more important than the design for me, kind of thing. So, okay, what else? Oh, I want you to go to my kitchen. All around, the hot pads are all from the countries I have traveled to.
Oh, wow.
So, the last 3 or 4 countries I've been to, the hot pads aren't made yet. The material is there, I just haven't gotten around to.
So are you buying the material in the countries, or
Yes.
you're buying? Okay.
I'm buying the material, or I'm buying the design. I'm buying something that represents the country, is what it's all about.
What a beautiful way to commemorate your travels.
Yeah, and so I can tell stories about it. But now that's another piece of my towel is a piece of my weaving. One day I just decided I did want to do multicolor things like that, and did that kind of thing. And my one claim to fame, I want this very clear, Lenny Cross came here because of me. So I want that credit because I think she is a super addition to Food and
Yes,
Village
she
here
contributes so
for
much.
what she does.
Yes.
So we sewed together at Interlochen for years before we came here. So
Well, wonderful. Well, Martha, thank you so much for opening your home and sharing your talents and your collections with us.
Okay, very, very good.
You know, I really love these apartment tours we've been doing. It's so cool to see what people keep in their apartments, all their different, you know, a lot of it is like a walk down memory lane of so many things that they've done throughout their lives. So these are so cool.
They are.
I'm
And
glad
this
we've
one
been
was
able to
really
do that.
great that we're actually going to have another part with her in a couple months where she shows us her different collections that she's gotten throughout her travels and throughout the years.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So cool. I love that we can do that. Well, Ashley,
Uh-oh.
we must finish the week with some nonsense.
Nonsense?
And what I have for you today has to do with some otherworldly sort
Ooh.
of creatures.
Okay.
So I would like to know if you would rather meet an alien, and you know that they're an alien,
Yeah.
on Earth,
Okay.
or would you take the trip to space wherever they may live and go find them?
So either meet them on my turf or theirs.
Yes, home
Okay.
or away.
All right. Can we assume that time is nothing? That I'll get there quickly and not 10
Yeah, you won't even have to
billion
think
light
about
years?
it. Yeah.
Okay,
we're not putting you in a pod to like not age for 30 years while you
Okay.
travel. You just get there.
I think that I would like to meet them in outer space.
In outer space?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think I would like to meet them in their planet, wherever they are, because I'd like to see what their planet is like.
Yeah.
Is it like the Jonas Brothers song where they all live underwater?
Mm.
Or
Is it like the Jetsons?
Is it like the Jetsons? I don't know. I'd like to see what their world looks like. So I'd like to meet them there.
We probably have a lot to learn from them if
I
we
think
can
we
travel
do.
there.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for nonsense. Nonsense with Noah. Let's hit the hall.
Would you rather meet an alien here on Earth or travel to the alien's planet to meet an alien?
I'd rather meet it on Earth.
Why?
It's my home turf. I
Ah.
have the advantage on home turf.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
you
Meet an alien on Earth or go to the alien's planet to meet the alien?
Well, alien, huh?
An alien, yes. We don't know what kind of alien, just that it's an alien.
I hate to say this, I don't believe in them.
Well, that's okay. Let's say it's a strange universe where you do believe in an alien.
Okay,
Would you rather have them be here or go there?
go there.
Go there. All right, cool. Exactly. So our question is, if you were to meet an alien, would you rather meet the alien here on Earth or travel to the alien's planet and meet the alien there?
Here on Earth.
Here on Earth, you'd rather meet him?
I think so. I could run.
There we go. Smart. Thank you. I want to know that if you were to meet an alien, would you rather meet an alien here on Earth or would you rather travel to the alien's planet to meet the alien?
I would rather see them here.
Here.
I want them to come and see what I do.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. And that is all we have for you this week. So make sure you do a little extra thinking about our extraterrestrial friends. Send them some good vibes, maybe. And we will see you next week. So until then, that's Ashley.
That's Noah.
And this has been Monday Morning. Bye.